I have it. This is
exclusive hot.
That's it for summer 2019.
But winter is coming. We know what's coming with it. We can't face it alone.
Winter is coming. Yes, it's time to put away your backpacks. Time to store that QRP radio, or is it? This time I am going to talk about an amp that can get you double duty from your QRP radio. It'll also save you a ton of money in the end. Stay tuned, this time on K6UDA Radio. So the Xiegu, or Xiegu, however you want to say it, XPA125B 100-watt amplifier. How good is it? How does it stack up? And what this basically could do for you is take your 5 or 10 watt QRP radio, whether it be a Xiegu radio or some other brand, your 817, your KX3 or KX2, and it can give you a full 100 watts to operate with inside your shack. This is the Xiegu XPA125B HF plus 6 meter 100 watt amplifier from MFJ. Like I said, 100 watts with a built-in tuner, this black and white digital screen, automatic band switching plus manual band switching. You can operate the amp in a manual mode for other radios. The back of the amp is very, very simple, with one input for your transmitter, an output for your antenna, a 12 volt DC in, a control cable that goes to the radio, a COM port for updating software updates, and a 30 amp fuse. Now, compared to the Elecraft amp, the Xiegu is very, very simple, but that also means you don't have that maze of wires that you do with the Elecraft amp. Which brings me to my first bitch. This is the CE19, and you need to have this in order to hook up this cable that comes with the amp and this cable that comes with the radio. Now, for whatever reason, Xiegu did not make the same connections on either end of this. One end has these little connections here, just a bunch of pins, and the amp end actually has a little plastic piece in the middle there. So these two cables are not interchangeable. Thus, you need to have the CE19, an extra $30 in order to get these two talking to each other. If you're going to run a different radio with this other than one of the Xiegu radios, you're also going to need the CE19. It has all the other connection ports that you would use if you're not using a Xiegu radio. So it is what it is. Now the front of this radio is very clean. It has simple controls on it. It has a power button, the power amp switch on and off, your band setting mode, but it does also auto sense the band with some radios, especially the Xiegu radios, and it has a built-in tuner. Now I did hook the amp up to my main power supply and antenna and gave it a twirl, and it does work. It does work well. So very impressed with that. Kilo 6 Uniform Delta Alpha. Kilo 6 Uniform Delta Alpha. I think this guy's definitely favoring the whiskey calls today, so I give him that. The size of this amp is a little bit wider than the KXPA100 amp. It's a little bit shorter than the Elecraft amp. The 125B measures in at 10 inches long by 3 inches tall. The 125B is a heavyweight amp. It weighs in at 7.33 pounds compared to the Elecraft amp at 5.54 pounds. And it costs a whole lot less. You can pick one of these things up for roughly $600 US. You can buy them from MFJ, and MFJ was so cool to send me one of these things. Now, I already have my K3 in the shack, so I don't normally use one of these amps, but I'll tell you what, this is a great alternative to a very expensive $1,500, as a matter of fact, with all the trimmings, Elecraft amp, which is kind of the gold standard. Now, on the other hand, you say, well, I can get a Hard Rock 50, and yeah, you'll pay $400 to $500 for that Hard Rock 50 amp, which is a 50 watt amp. This amp is going to give you 100 watts with a built-in tuner, with all the controls. You can hook it up with damn near any radio you want, and get yourself a full 100 watts, which basically turns your station, your QRP station, into a full HF radio for use in the wintertime, or when you're in your motorhome, or you're at a place where you've got sufficient power to run an amp and you want that power to get out. Now, I tried this with my QRP Ranger, and you could see what the amp draw is with a radio attached also. But for full power, it really likes 13.8 volts. So anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please, again, hit that like, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done it, and check out my Patreon page, and or drop me a few bucks or a buck on PayPal. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got today. I'm Bob, K6UDA, and I'm out of here. 7-3.